Hey, good morning, Choice Residential. Hope your day's off to a wonderful start. Today, I want to talk about the dreaded word no and what does no actually mean. And it's funny, I think about this as a parent because oftentimes when my kids ask me something, my immediate response is no. And the question then is, why is that the case? And why do people say no? The important thing is to know that the word no, N-O, does not necessarily mean no. It's not always the end of the negotiation or the discussion. But what it means when somebody says no is it allows them to protect their position. And then that allows them to step back, relax, and think about your proposition in a more relaxed state and understand it from your point of view. But if they say maybe or yes in the beginning, it's harder to walk that back, but it's easier to change your position of no later on. If you think about your kid asking you if they can have an ice cream bar after dinner, you might say no. But the reason you're saying no is because you haven't actually discussed it with your spouse yet. You two haven't had a meeting of the minds on whether your child should have that ice cream bar. So you say no, but no doesn't actually mean no. It just means I need to discuss it with someone else before I can give you my final answer. There's some other things that no may mean. So think about this. It may mean I'm not ready to agree yet. It may mean that you're making me uncomfortable by asking. And so my answer is no until I more can understand where you're coming from and what your perspective is. It could mean that I simply don't understand what you're asking. And so instead of asking for more information in that moment, maybe it's just easier for me to say no, but what I actually need is just more information. There could be a belief that they can't afford this thing. So they say no while they need to figure that piece of it out. It could be that they want something else. So they say no rather than entering into a negotiation in that moment. They're just saying no to buy themselves time to formulate their preferred response. It could be that they need more information, or like I said before, they just want to talk it over with somebody else. Very common in, of course, a real estate context where there might be other decision makers. The important thing here is for you as the agent to understand that no isn't always the end of it. In fact, oftentimes it's just the middle or the beginning of that negotiation. We can't shut down just because somebody says no, and we can't allow the people we represent to shut down either. We always want to keep those conversations moving forward. So we need to remind ourselves and remind them that a no doesn't necessarily mean no. It's just semantics. It's words that are being used over the course of the negotiation. But there's usually just additional information or perspectives that are needed on that other side. So hopefully you have a little different perspective of what no means as it pertains to negotiations. And just remember, it is that person protecting their right to say no. And people will die for that right to say no, even if no isn't going to be their final answer. They don't ever want to be stripped of the right to say no. So give them that right. That's okay. And then continue moving forward in a respectful way to hopefully get a meeting of the mind. So hopefully that maybe sheds some new perspective on that. If you have other things you love about negotiating or the word no, put them in the comments below. We'd all love to hear about it. Otherwise, until next time, take care.